Welcome back to One-on-One Sports. We're joined by college basketball resident expert Adam Constantine. Adam, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, which college basketball players would you say the NBA scouts have the biggest crushes on?
Well, let me tell you something. In a freshman class and in the beginning of the year, I thought only one standout would stay throughout the whole year. I have been absolutely amazed. There's, of course, John Wall. Everybody, America's sweetheart. Yes, it's John Wall, averaging 16 points a game, 6.6 assists per game. I mean, he is doing what he needs to do to lead that team. Now, right alongside him is DeMarcus Cousins, averaging the same amount of points, 16.4, and 10 rebounds a game. Let me tell you something. Averaging a double-double is so much more important. I would rather have a player who's averaging 16 and 10 than 20 points because that implies defensive stops. That implies extra possessions for your team. So he is providing his team more than just scoring. That's what's impressive. Lance Stevenson from Cincinnati, he's averaging 12 points a game. Xavier Henry, he's averaging 13 points a game. Avery Bradley, from Texas, is averaging 12 points a game. I mean, these are guys that are stepping up and just lighting up the scoreboard night in, night out, and also helping their team win.
Another freshman doing well, Derek Favors from Georgia Tech, projected to go top 5 area in the draft. Scouts really love him.
Yes, definitely.
All right, well, some women who are catching our eyes are the UConn's women basketball team, who are quickly closing on the NCAA all-time record for consecutive wins, which is 85. Give us your thoughts of the ladies and their impressive run.
So far, the UConn women have amassed 62 straight wins, which is, I mean, good grief. I mean, that is impressive. I mean, 62 straight wins. But they are beating teams by an average of 40 points. 40 points. That's like AAU basketball. I mean, nobody beats people by 40 points, not in college and not in average. I mean, that is absolutely, I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, some of you say, oh, you know, well, the women's game is different than the men's game. 62 games in a row is 62 games in a row. 40 points as an average is 40 points. I mean, there's nothing else to say. I mean, that team is doing what it takes year in and year out. I'm not sure if they're going to beat UCLA's record of 88, which, you know, that was way back when. But these are the types of streaks that will not be broken for a long time. It's amazing to watch this unfold, you know, before our eyes. You know, I mean, this is crazy to see a team win. I mean, 62 wins in a row in any sport is amazing, but it's something as, you know, temperamental as basketball, where, you know, if you have a bad shooting night, you're done. I mean, that just doesn't happen to them. I can imagine that they probably run
a lot of room for error with 40-point winning margins.
At the same time, you say you see them not surpassing John Wooden's UCLA's club streak of 88 wins, but they've been beating teams by such an exorbitant margin that I just don't see how they could slip up. If they slip up, I mean, a slip up for them is winning by 10 points.
It only takes one. It only takes one team on one night in, 26 more games that they would have to go. I mean, that's still. Well, that still goes into next season where they've lost. You know, they're going to lose the class that they have now. So, you know, who knows? You know, I mean, 26 games in a row. Don't let the 62 fool you. 26 games in a row is a lot of games. So, I mean, that's still a long ways, but the 62 is extremely impressive. It's amazing for any team to get that high.
I agree. The women of UConn may be giving their fans something to cheer about, but the UConn men's basketball team certainly isn't. Just how disappointing have they been, and what other college teams have been breaking their fans' hearts this season?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I was not expecting this when UConn started the season. They played so strong last year, and they seem to have a lot of the same faces, but they're just not getting it done. They're 14-9, which seems to be okay, but they're 0-5 on the road, which is huge in college basketball. Wins on the road are huge. And they're 4-6 in conference, which is 11th in the Big East. In the Big East, you can't lose conference games if you want to be considered seriously in any high NCAA bids. I mean, the Big East right now is one of the conferences to be, and UConn is not holding their weight. Another team that was predicted was fourth preseason number 4 in the country.
And
UNC,
defending champs.
Yes, and defending champs are unranked. I understand they lost a lot of their firepower. I understand that, you know, it's a rebuilding year and all that stuff, but to drop from preseason number 4 to out of the rankings with a loss to College of Charleston, I mean, that kind of stuff hurts. You know, Roy, when your coach says we are as low as we can go, then you're in trouble. I mean, when your coach comes out and says that, you're in trouble. And there are some things that you're going to have to work on, and that's very disappointing to a UNC fan base that is diehard and all they want is championships.
Well, this UNC team is going right along with the rest of the ACC with some struggling seasons. So what conference to you has been the biggest disappointment this year?
The biggest disappointment for the conference is definitely ACC. I've been very surprised at the lackluster play that's been there. ACC has always been one of the top-tier conferences. You know, like the ACC Big Ten Challenge has always been the ACC beating the Big Ten.
Won the first 3 years, and then this year they lose.
Yes. I think it was actually first 10 years that they won. I mean, they would just win out, and then they lost this year. Haven't been doing well. It's only Duke and Georgia Tech that are even ranked in the top 25.
That's a good point, but I looked at this last night. The ACC is the only conference of the 6 power conferences in college basketball where every team has a winning record. Every team. That includes SEC, Big 12, Big East, Pac-10, and what am I missing?
Big 12.
Big 12. Thank you. Big 12.
Well, I think that's also because those big conferences are beating up on each other. I think the thing about it with the ACC, some of their RPI, it's not as strong as it usually is. But I saw some of it. A lot of them are in the top 150, whereas in years past their RPI has been in the top 50. So I mean, while their records may show that they're winning, they're really not playing the competition that they used to, and that's because they're not as strong. I think this is one of the first years, and don't get me wrong, the ACC is still a strong conference.
They're still going to send 7 teams to the tournament like they always do.
But as far as years past, as far as being the conference, UNC Duke if this keeps up, will not be the rivalry anymore if these teams don't step it up.
All right, folks, we have to take another quick break, but when we get back, we'll be discussing the upcoming Winter Olympics. Don't go anywhere.